Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
It's a Wednesday episode. Dallas only has an hour, so we're going to try and whip through these topics as quickly as we can so that Dallas is here for them. But I will say there's quite a bit on the docket for a Wednesday episode. Well, we have the little bit of a layoff on Tuesday, but most of the stuff that has happened that we're going to talk about has happened in the last 24 hours. We're going to be talking about the White Sox. We're going to be talking about the Mariners. We're going to be talking about the Rangers and the Phillies, Trea Turner specifically. The Yankees had a lot of things happen yesterday. A lot of things. Mike Trout's back. Maybe Max has something to say about that. And the Brewers almost made a big trade. Did you see that, Dallas?
Almost.
You see who it was?
They almost made a big trade.
Almost. You see who it was for?
No, I did not see who it was for.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's a big tease. If Dallas Braden hasn't seen it, maybe there's some other folks listening right now. They're like, what are they talking about? Well, stay tuned because we're going to talk about it. This episode is sponsored by Knockaround Sunglasses, quality polarized affordable shades, including new MLB and U.S. women's soccer team pairs. Check them out at knockaround.com. But the big news, obviously, the Chicago White Sox have absolutely cleaned house. It was something that I was somewhat surprised about. I mean, like in other organizations, this would not be a surprise. In the White Sox organization, kind of a surprise. The Chicago White Sox announced that Ken Williams, executive vice president, and Rick Hahn, senior vice president / general manager, have been relieved of their responsibilities effective immediately. So, first of all, yes, this is big news. It's a lead story. There's so many layers to this. There's so many. First and foremost, were any of you surprised at the timing? Like, of all the things that have happened with the White Sox this year, just the in the last 3 years, let's call it, embarrassment after embarrassment, wouldn't you kind of just say, like, all right, at the end of the year, once the dust settles, we'll make the announcement, like, complete overhaul? Or is it, I don't know, the timing of it seems strange to me. Does it seem strange to anybody else?
I don't know that it's necessarily strange. I think it's because it's, we're not smack dab in the middle of the season. We're right near the end here. We got about a month left. So when you think about trying to make an impactful decision, I feel like that's why you would anticipate something like this happening sooner rather than later in the season. So it almost feels like, based on a lot of the decisions that have been made around the organization in recent years, i.e. bringing La Russa back in, this feels like it might be the most well-timed decision. Oddly enough, what are you playing for right now? What's going on right now that this decision is going to impact? Nothing. So if you're looking towards the future, why wait another month? Why wait another month? Why not give whoever it is that is going to be coming into this situation as much of a head start as possible with whoever is here currently, and give them a feel for what they have here now and how to operate, how they could potentially operate now? Because essentially you're trying to give these folks ample time to install infrastructure that allows them to operate differently than they have in the past. And what better time than the present to get that going if you don't feel like a decision like that is going to, I don't know, affect a playoff run? And if that's not where you're at.
Like, that was my initial reaction too, was that, like, why wait in a lost season? Like, get ahead. Like, hey, maybe we'll have competition for the guy that we want to hire, and we want to be that first in line, that first person to make contact with the potential GM hire. Mm-hmm. Where this falls apart logically for me, you're talking about building infrastructure, you're talking about coming in and getting familiar, that sort of stuff. The news today is that they're promoting an internal candidate and bringing in Dayton Moore. So my reaction to that is, what the fuck was the rush to do that? Like putting aside the idea that
those same theories apply. It's just that they've had, is it fair to say, with them making this move right now, they've had this targeted. They've known kind of what they've wanted. They've had their targets in place, and now they're like, you know what? Fine, we're going to fire the bullet now.
So we can have a separate conversation on whether these targets make any sense or are good hires. I think you can probably tell from my tone where I'm going to come down on that one. But like what is particularly troublesome to me is, and you have to have an appreciation for the overall Chicago Reinsdorf sports scene to really have registered with this. And so I'm going to read a tweet from Sylvie, who's like a local media person there, radio for the most part. There was no search when the Bulls hired Tim Floyd. There was no search when the Bulls hired Fred Hoiberg. There was no search when the Bulls hired Jim Boylan. There was no search when the White Sox hired Robin Ventura. And there was no search when the White Sox hired Tony La Russa. So this fits perfectly with how the White Sox have operated their franchise for literally decades, right? Like remember Reinsdorf owns the Bulls too. So this is a dual thing, and it's how he's run both of these franchises. And you use the term clean house, which I thought was interesting because when I saw that Kenny Williams and Rick Hahn were out, I was like, okay, we're turning the page, right? Like they're going to bring in somebody with a little bit of a progressive approach. They're going to bring in some fresh ideas from outside the organization. And instead what they've done, I don't know anything about Chris Getz, so I'm not slamming him as an individual, but he is an internal candidate and he's being promoted from within a baseball operations unit that seems at least partially dysfunctional / broken / not as successful as you would want it to be. And Dayton Moore, whose track record is basically a very brief moment in the sun surrounded by 20 years of being one of the 2 or 3 worst baseball teams in the league. So I just, if I'm a White Sox fan, I am like wildly disappointed by this turn of events and the lack of any process at all, even a fake one where you just end up with your guys anyway, but you did the whole rigmarole. That would have made somebody feel a little bit better. This to me is like, if I'm a White Sox fan, I'm like, honestly, who fucking cares?
Well, because it makes you feel like it's par for the course. There
it
hasn't
is
been
par for the course. That's exactly what it is.
Because nothing has changed about the process. That's what jars people, I think. That's what's going to not jar White Sox fans because they're sitting here going, this morning they're going, what's different? What is different? This is just a new group of people here to do the same thing.
One of my good friends is a White Sox fan. I was texting with him this morning. He said it was a fun 12 hours.
Yeah.
Where you could dream about what could have been, right? About like a new direction and a new path forward. Instead, you have like one of the most regressive GMs to have helmed a team in the last 20 years in Dayton Moore taking over some part of your front office. It is from a non-White Sox perspective, it couldn't be any more comical. And from a White Sox fan perspective, I just couldn't, I feel like it couldn't be any more deflating.
If you are the Chicago White Sox or you're a White Sox fan that's listening to this, maybe tomorrow or next week, we might open up the voicemails for White Sox fans, just not necessarily in the way that we normally open up the voicemails, but I'm interested to hear how they feel about the future of this organization. I'm interested to hear how they feel about, is this enough? Where does it go from here? Are you satisfied? Are you scared? Like there's got to be a lot of mixed emotions right now because I feel like the point that you just made about your White Sox fan friend Jay, I'm sure that's a common belief. Like, man, we're finally free. Ah, fuck. like I feel like the celebration was short lived if you're a White Sox fan. So,
but then you got the news that La Russa's back in the mix, and you might just be on cloud 9 again.
I can't believe. I mean, all due respect to the man's resume, cannot believe the man is back in the fold in any way, shape, or form.
Well, it's just a consultant. I that's probably not that much of a big role, right?
He is being paid for his input on baseball in our Lord's year of 2024.
To me, it has absolutely nothing to do with the size or impact of his role and everything to do with what message that sends to the rest of the organization about what the priorities are for Jerry Reinsdorf and his son in the ownership group. Like that, that's all it is to me. I don't care if Tony La Russa shows up or never shows up. That's the second bullet point following canning Kenny Williams and Rick Hahn is like, if I'm in that organization, that's just horseshit.
Well, you can't.
Well,
It's
not to
tough.
disparage Tony La Russa, great career.
It's tough to look at those moves and think that there's nothing wrong with bringing La Russa back. How do you look at those moves and are excited about those at any point in time, and then know that Tony's coming back? Yeah, you're having the like what it feels like is it's the moment where you watch this lovely old couple who have nursed this poor little sick squirrel back to health, and they release it in the garden only to watch some hawk swoop down and pluck it off the tree and fucking rip it to shreds. It's like, oh, that was, we tried.
At least this overshadows another clubhouse incident with them asking Eloy Jimenez. Did you see that? They ask him, have you guys had any conversations in the clubhouse about like someone stepping up to be a leader? And he goes, not really. That's it. No follow up. Not really.
We're gonna get to it. We just haven't really. Nobody's really talked about it. Nobody's really taken it upon themselves to have that conversation. When that does, though.
Yeah,
Dallas, can I ask you a practical question about that? Actually,
please.
Is that something that really would like? Is the expectation that in a lost season, which this is, on a team that's been characterized as devoid of leadership, is that something that's really practically happening in late August of a season?
What you are looking for right now is are people, are individuals who you can just, like for me as a talent evaluator, if I were a member of that organization, I would have somebody whose opinion I truly respected roam the halls, just be in the room and take note of how things are going, the daily goings on. And do I have players in that room that command the respect of their teammates? Right? Because I've talked a lot about this with a young player like Zach Geloff for the A's, who has showed up in what we all know to be a lost season, non-competitive season. That doesn't mean that they're not playing for something. And that doesn't mean that there's nothing to glean from the day-to-day goings on, as I've said. So this is an opportunity to see who in that room has those intangibles that might just be being suppressed at the moment because of the climate in that room. And they don't feel like their presence is enough to step up. So if I'm watching somebody move around in that group and I feel like they can be that leader, as an evaluator or a staff member, I bring them into the office and I explain to them what this situation is, something that they're well aware of, which is, look, right now, I understand how things are going, but the way you go about your business, the way you show up each and every day and attack the game plan and attack the day, that's not lost on some of these other guys that are watching you, okay? And when this is all said and done and we're ready to take off next year, I need you to keep this same mindset because you are going to be the lighthouse. You are going to be the one that the ships can follow when the storm gets rough, all right? And that's what should be happening right now. That is the process of looking towards the future in a clubhouse that is in disarray and in a franchise that has been, I don't want to say turned upside down, but is going through a bit of a churn cycle here right now, losing longstanding members in their front office. Unfortunately, for White Sox fans, it doesn't feel like there's going to be new blood installed outside of Dayton Moore. And so, player perspective, we need to close ranks and we need to just get better internally in this group. But I think the young players being excited about getting better is what needs to happen for that leadership to start to be a thing. But in terms of like trying to find our leader right here, right now, no.
Got to talk about the DraftKings Sportsbook for a second. But before we do that, we have to talk about the parlay. And on Monday, I hit, Dallas hit, Jay Hay hit. Then there's one leg that missed. There's one leg that cost us the baseball is dead Monday parlay. And, by process of elimination, there's only so many people left that could have fucked that up for us. Do you have a prepared statement today?
I do have a prepared statement.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Every week I come out, I do my best. I do hours of research. I look in all the splits. I look at all the numbers. I break it down. I try my best. Like I really try my best. But seriously, if I get one wrong, give me a fucking break. It's not a big deal. It was one wrong pick. Who gives a shit? All right. I got it right like the last 5 times. So, I never got a pat in the back. Last week I got it right. Did we have a talk? Did we go over who got it right this week? Who? No, but the one time I get it wrong, I get it. You guys got it right. Pat in the back. Good job. I got it wrong.
All this because Joey blew his pick. You've waited all year and the time has finally arrived. College football is back. And so are the traditions, the tailgates, and the great offers from the DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on any college football bet. Kick off the season with the DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app. Use the promo code Jared, Jared. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on any college football bet, only on the DraftKings Sportsbook with the promo code Jared.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. In West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In partnership with Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. All games regulated by the West Virginia Lottery. Please play responsibly. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms.
Yeah, we need to be better. We need to be better. We need to be Mariners good. Winning 8 straight baseball games. Imagine winning 8 straight baseball is dead parlays. Asinine. We can't even win 1 straight. The Seattle Mariners last night took care of business, and they are now entering play today on this Wednesday, 1 game back of first place. Thank you to the Texas Rangers for cooperating. They've lost 6 straight games. So the Seattle Mariners went from we've traded our closer, we're punting on the season. I mean, I believe the Red Sox were playing the Mariners at the time. Yeah, I think the Red Sox were going into a series with Seattle at the time that they had just traded. There were trade rumors of them trading Teoscar Hernandez. And it was like, all right, yeah, keep it going, keep selling. And next thing you know, they could be division champs, which I want to revisit the conversation from the beginning of the year because I think that came up. I think that we were like, not that anyone picked them to win the division, but I think we had a discussion about, is Seattle ready to kind of take that next step? And everyone's like, well, no, there's no way that they can overcome Houston. There wasn't a ton of they're going to have to overtake the Texas Rangers right now. I mean, because the Red Sox are fucking awful. The Houston Astros are a half game out of first place, and the Mariners are a half game back of them. It is a clusterfuck at the top of the AL West.
I would like to defend myself a little bit. I didn't think they would win the division, but I did pick them to get to the World Series. So, pat in the back. I know I messed up the parlay, guys, but still have faith because I am kind of, picking the right thing. I'm kind of right in some ways, so that's a point for me.
Yeah, you had them being good enough to make it to the World Series, and at this point, who could argue with that?
Oh yeah.
Are they peaking too soon, Joe?
Listen, I think this is exactly what happened last year. If I'm remembering correctly, right? Seattle was out of it last year, and everyone, what's going on with Seattle? They got Luis Castillo, and they got hot at the very end of the season, just like they're doing now. Now, did that translate into playoff success? No, but it was a tight series. I think with another year of playoff experience, I think, the chances of them going deep in the playoffs this year are definitely higher than they were last year.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you can look at it that way where, it wasn't a deep run. But I mean, from a pitching standpoint, almost 18 shutout innings in one day against the Houston Astros, the World Series champs.
And they took out Toronto.
Their pitching's there. All they had to do was score 1 fucking run. They couldn't do it.
That's what's going to be, man. Their offense obviously is not up to par with the other offenses they're going to be facing per se, but their pitching competes with anybody in the AL. So, like we see in the playoffs.
And they've got the softest schedule for any team looking to make it to the postseason.
Exactly.
Super soft.
So to Joey's point about it feels like they did this last year, they actually waited a little longer to do it this year, but the overall point couldn't be more on point because you look at best win percentage post All-Star game, the last 2 seasons, the Mariners are 4th in baseball at a .613 winning percentage behind only the Dodgers, Astros, and Braves, who I think we're all on the same page, have been like basically the class of the sport over that stretch. So I mean, maybe it's a thing, maybe it's not, but they are definitely doing a version of what they did last year. I just can't, I'm sure there are examples of this, but in terms of the division race itself, I can't recall a race that was not only this tight at the end of the year. There have been examples of that, but that seemed to fluctuate so wildly in terms of like our expectations for it. Right. So we started off, everybody was on the same page with Houston, and then Texas just blew everybody out of the water to start. And now we're talking about, and now they've faded as the Astros have sort of like never gotten hot, but just stuck around. And now the Mariners, who were a 500 team, 100 games into this season, have all of a sudden done like all of their work over the last 3 weeks. It's
so then
it's crazy.
with that, with all with all that said, Jay Hay, does that give you the thought, and maybe it does for myself, that the Houston Astros are the team that is more suited to sustain any sort of run that they go on, considering they've been unhealthy for the majority of the season and have sustained their success to the point where unhealthy, they have still remained at the top of the division. And now, as they've gotten guys back, right, Altuve, and as they've gotten Jordan back, like now they could start to roll. I don't know what it's going to look like for them on the pitching side of things, but when we're talking about an offense like the Houston Astros, they're a problem. They're a problem. And now that they're healthy, like that's, just the idea that
are they?
those other two
Jordan,
teams.
Jordan just got hurt. He slammed his finger in a door, and that's why he wasn't in the lineup last night.
But that can't be. That can't be.
But
that
I mean,
bad.
I'm talking like,
hopefully.
yeah, I'm talking
don't know.
overall. Like,
I don't know.
He was on the shelf for months, and now he's not.
We don't know.
And I think you're right. I mean, Fangraphs has the Astros as likely to win the AL West as the other two teams combined at this point, which feels heavy to me. But that does speak to the idea that A, their strength of schedule is not hard moving forward, and B, they're the team that I think most people are on the same page has the most talent top to bottom if we were starting the season over. But like, I was just looking at the playoff odds, and I know Joey brought up Seattle specifically over like the last week or 6 days or whatever it was. If you pair the Texas and Seattle situations together with the 8-game winning streak and the 6-game losing streak, at this point last week, when we were recording the Wednesday podcast, the Rangers have gone from 48 to 25, and the Mariners have gone from 4% to 25%. Like the swings are just incredible, and the drama, like it's just great drama too. Because
and the fact
none of these teams, all of these teams are good, right? There is no fluke here. There is no team that's like running on the fumes of like a good first month of the season. These are all viable postseason teams.
Fuck viable postseason teams. I feel like you could see in a world where any one of these teams is competing for a World Series.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. And the most intriguing part about this entire race, I think, is something that we touched on last podcast, and Joey initially brought it up with the cakewalk to the end. But we're talking about how intriguing this is. There's not going to be a more intriguing 2 weeks in baseball than the last 2 weeks in this division, because of where the Mariners, Rangers, and Astros all sit, and the fact that they're going to be playing each other for the last 2 weeks of the season. Like the Mariners, remember we talked about it. Rangers, Astros, Rangers. That's their last 9 games, 10 games is against the Rangers and the Astros.
Yeah. To me, it feels like kind of we're overlooking the Astros a little bit because they have been hurt all year and they're pretty much at 100% right now, other than Valdez. No, Valdez has been here.
Rubber's fine. He's just drilling people for getting lit up.
Garcia and McCullers. All right, they're done. But they got Urquidy just came back. Valdez is pitching. Verlander is back on the team now. Like their pitching staff is pretty much at full strength, and they have one of the best starting pitching staffs in the league with a healthy Altuve. Pray to God that the finger of Yordan Alvarez, I mean, the finger is probably the size of someone's leg, so maybe it's a bigger issue than others, but hopefully the door wasn't too heavy and he's back healthy. But yeah, I think, the Astros team should, in my brain, be pretty heavily favorited just because they're the they're the Astros. I mean, we're basically.
it runs through Houston.
If we're starting the season over today, which we are because it's basically tied, and you have an Astros team that's basically healthy, you're basically starting over for game one of the season when we all thought the Astros were going to steamroll them. So, under that logic, kind of all signs to me are pointing to the Astros winning it for like the 20th year in a row.
Well, the reason why people should be afraid of the Astros is kind of to what Dallas was saying earlier, that the Rangers started off red hot. The Astros hung around because they didn't have Altuve. They didn't have Yordan. The Mariners are red hot right now. But the Astros, it's like they've just been good enough to, quote unquote, hang around. And they're a half game out of first place. They've yet to have their fuck you month. And there's only 1 month left. So, like, let's just say they, quote unquote, hang around. The Rangers continue to slide here and the Mariners run out of juice, then it's like, all right, well, Houston wins the division. They're going to get in anyway, but let's just say they win the division by a game or two, and then their get hot month. What if that's October? Then what? Then what the fuck do you do?
And that's why the Astros, they've been without a third of their lineup essentially, right? And this is what when you don't have a Michael Brantley who you were banking on, and you miss time like Alvarez did, and you miss time like Altuve did, that's a third of your lineup, and a pretty stout third of your lineup. So for those two other teams to play the way that they did, Mariners playing their best baseball of the season right now, and the Texas Rangers, who at times look like world beaters, it's all kind of just settled at the same spot. The only difference is one of those teams was missing a third of their lineup and is still in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, with a guy like Jeremy Pena, who's been cold as ice pretty much most of the season. If Mr.
8-man lineup.
If Mr. Pena, maybe switches something up, gets a new sweatband, some new batting gloves. Maybe goes no batting gloves. Maybe him and Kyle Tucker make a trade.
Maybe they swap.
Hey, if Mr. Pena shows up, scary.
Mr. Pena's still out there playing Gold Glove defense, so it's not like he's a net negative, but he does need to step it up from an offensive standpoint. Either way, the AL West. Did everyone pick the Stros to win the division at the beginning of the year? That's correct. Everyone picked the Astros. I'm not even going to give anyone the option to pick the Seattle Mariners. Let's just say I did. Would anyone take it?
No, thank you. But what I would note is that the Mariners have passed the Orioles and the Rangers in World Series odds, which I find fascinating.
Yeah. The Mariners passed
even if it's fractional. They technically, it's all very close, but they technically have better chances to win the World Series right now, according to Fangraphs, than both the Orioles and the Rangers individually.
That's lovely.
The odds hate the Orioles. Like the odds just they don't give the Orioles. They hate the Orioles.
Nobody here's gotten on the Orioles are going to win the World Series bandwagon. I don't think that's an accident.
True, but I mean, come on. They got one of the best records.
They do, but I think everyone takes one look at that rotation and they're like, well, that's probably not going to hold up.
And Flaherty's missing
one
his start
thing.
too.
It's one thing to have answers in the 7th and 8th and 9th inning. It's another thing to have questions in innings 1 through 6.
I think the Rays have a better chance to win the World Series than the Orioles. Am I right about that? I mean, they got problems in the rotation and in the lineup.
Problems.
They got massive problems.
I'm fucking
everywhere.
out on the Rays.
Yeah. A once promising season in Tampa has turned into, please just get this over with.
Just so crazy. You come out of the gate like essentially thinking you have locked down a division with a 14-win head start to your season.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's the sad part is
that's
like,
why we got to play all of them.
and the sad part is they're probably thinking about even more long-term problems with Franco, because if he can't play again and they still have to pay him, and like that's a long contract and a lot of money to eat for a team that doesn't spend money at all.
I don't think that they would have to eat it in that case.
Well, if you have like a Trevor Bauer situation where maybe he gets suspended for a couple years, and then it's kind of like the PR thing. It's like, do we want to have this guy on the team and all the negative backlash? And then you're just like, we don't want him on the team. We're gonna have to pay him, and that's a lot of money and a lot of years to do that for.
Yeah.
Since May 9th, the Tampa Bay Rays are sandwiched between the Miami Marlins and the Minnesota Twins in win percentage. They are 14th in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
So if that to you says World Series contender, then God bless you. But I don't. It doesn't to me.
Well, that goes to my original point.
It's not April anymore, Dorothy. You know,
God bless America.
They have double the odds to win the World Series than the Orioles right now. They have like a 9-7. The Orioles have 4.
I think that's horse shit.
I actually, I don't know why I just thought of this right now, but we have to issue a correction / apology because of last week's podcast. And I'm gonna apologize first with an explanation, because I believe I was the one who said that Matt Olson was a Platinum Glove award winner. It's only because Dallas has said that so many fucking times that I just never questioned it.
No. Matt Chapman is the Platinum Glover.
Yeah, I know
not
that.
Matt Olson.
I know that, but like, you've said it about both of them. And then if you go back to the last episode when we start talking about it, like when Dallas interjects and he gets mad, you also say he's a Platinum Glove winner, Jay.
Yeah.
Platinum Glove. Like, you said it too. And I only thought that because you have said it so many fucking times.
About Matt Chapman.
No, about Matt Olson.
No.
Dallas, you said it last episode. You said it.
No. Put it on the record. But show me where I'm on the record saying it previously before yesterday.
So because I said it. So because I said it, you said it.
I'll wait.
You fucking said it.
I'll wait.
You said it so many goddamn times. You know what?
Wait.
I bet
Matt Chapman, the platinum player.
I'll go find it.
All right, go find it. Go find it, and you won't owe me the jersey you owe me.
I don't owe you a jersey. In the starting 9 days, you said we got Platinum Glove on both sides of both corners. You said
no.
Thousands.
I said it's gold. It's gold on one corner. It's platinum on the other. Precious metal throughout the
thousands
infield.
of times you called him a Platinum Glover, including last episode. So that's only beaten into my brain because of Dallas's propaganda.
You better be careful, Dallas. They're gonna find this shit. If you said this, they'll find it.
Yeah, there are starting 9 / baseball is dead sleuths that will find you calling him a Platinum Glover.
First of all, you think I don't have a lie or a response already on deck, ready to fire when the proof comes back?
Yeah, you're like, oh, it's AI.
At the end of the day, if I don't believe it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thank you, Jared. That is super classy of you, first of all, and that's why you're the masthead here on this podcast. And the straw that stirs the drink. I just, you could tell I was really flustered during that conversation because I never even bothered to check that Matt Olson was a Platinum Glove winner. It didn't feel right, but I was so caught up in the yelling that I didn't realize that my get out of jail free card was right in front of me. By
awful lot of blame being passed around and overlooked here by you guys. Feels like you're looking to just put this on somebody else.
No, I'm not looking to put it on anybody because I've been 100% vindicated on this. It's been 4 fucking years since the guy even won a Gold Glove, let alone this Platinum Glove that we just made up out of thin air. Matt Chapman, just for the record, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page before we move on because we don't need to dwell on this. Very classy.
Yeah,
I'm very classy. Matt Chapman, third baseman, American League. Not an MVP candidate. Just wanted to put a pin in that so that we're all clear on who we were talking about and who we weren't talking about.
All right. It is 9:00. I have to go.
Oh,
I gotta go.
wow.
Oh,
Wow. What
my
timing?
God.
What ridiculous. I'm so
But,
glad I'm glad you were here for the apology. I
But
accept
before
your
I
apology
go-
as well, Dallas. Thank you.
Good. Mine's probably on its way in writing. Jay, check the mail.
Oh, very nice.
I did want to shout out Kutch, Wainwright. The matchup that we never thought we'd get again is continued. Wainwright chasing 200 wins. This hurts a little because what we got with Pujols in his pursuit for the home run milestone felt incredible. And this feels like it's almost like we're dragging a guy to the finish line. I want nothing more than Waino to hit this mark sooner rather than later. But it hurts my heart kind of watching it unfold the way it is. I did like the Kutch homer. Sorry. But I also, Ellie De La Cruz, first since Bonds in 86 with 10 homers, 20 stolen bases as a rookie. Is that right?
Through 60 games.
National League through 60 games or whatever it is.
Yeah, since Bonds, right? Yeah.
Yeah, since Bonds. And then I also wanted to shout out Stella and the fellas. Stella Weaver, if you aren't aware, is participating in the Little League World Series. And she has set the record for hits by a female on the U.S. side with 3 in the Little League World Series. And this is after absolutely throttling Alabama in the regional, where she threw a fucking shutout. Sorry about it. And you also got to give credit to Saya Tsushima, who holds the overall record for hits in a Little League World Series by a female with 5. That was done in 1998, Team Japan. So Stella and the fellas, shout out Stella. Keep raking, homegirl.
Dallas, before you leave, really important, and I know you don't want to overlook this either. The A's made a big trade, okay? But bigger than the acquisition itself is that the tide's turning. People are now coming to me to give these A's players nicknames. Did you see this? Have you heard about this?
Oh, yeah.
No, I've not.
Yeah, the trade was Sean Newcomb for minor league outfielder Trenton Brooks, obviously Brooksy, right? But it was about Sean Newcomb. They said I had to bless him with a Oakland A's nickname. So we are going to go with Cumtown.
Yeah.
I don't.
Sean New Cumtown. Yeah. So that's going to be good. Good luck getting that one out. Yep. Cumtown. It's comb, obviously spelled, but if you pronounce it, it's cum. So I think that's going to be a fun one for you. So good luck at the game today. If Sean gets in, I don't know if he's even on the roster yet, but either way, it's very exciting.
I haven't seen him.
40 man. He's on the 40
Right.
man. Yeah.
Boston guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
Former Braves great. Yeah.
Yep.
Cumtown.
We had a sit down with Nuke.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
Cumtown.
Nuke.
Yeah.
Cumtown. Sorry.
Had a sit down with
Cumtown.
Cumtown.
Yeah.
Little sit down with Cumtown. All right.
Yeah.
That's it. I am gone.
All right.
He go. I'm gone.
Yeah.
to see you.
Very convenient timing for Dallas.
Yeah, very
to depart the
Yes.
show.
Hey, Matt Chapman. Sorry.
Apology accepted.
Platinum Glover.
Matt
problem.
Olson,
Matt Olson.
Platinum
Matt
Glover.
Olson.
Dallas
Platinum
Braden
Glover.
said so. For years he said that, which is just
I think it's one of his
Listen.
tats, actually.
it probably is. The guy he is a one-man propaganda machine, and he will yell at you until you just agree with him. It's
I
bullying.
didn't back
is what
down,
it is.
though. Fuck him.
No. Fuck him. I agree. Yeah, if you wanna catch a glimpse of Cumtown in Oakland, there are plenty of seats still available. Because buying tickets to your favorite event shouldn't be stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for all the fun that you'll have. Joe, when's the last time you went to a baseball game?
It has been a couple months.
Couple months? Wow. Are you going to go back anytime soon?
I think the Braves are coming to DC in September.
Okay.
I'll see you guys there.
Yeah.
Meet
You're not
and
going to go
greet.
check out your Phils or no?
Oh, the Phillies? Yeah, I go season ticket holder.
Okay. So you don't need You don't need the Game Time app for the Phils because you already have season tickets. But maybe for those Braves tickets,
For
you can
friends,
check
for
out
friends,
the
for
Game
friends.
Time
I
app.
buy tickets for all my friends. Shohei's coming to town next week.
That'll be fun as well.
Everyone send me up. I got you. Just sending out
There you go.
tickets, everybody.
Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. The Game Time guarantee means that you'll get the best price always. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Get images of your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds, just 2 taps and you are set. Tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your email. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code Jared for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use the promo code Jared, Jared, for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Okay. We got to talk about your Phils. The fighting Phils, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Last night, we have updated numbers on Trea Turner, who after his standing ovation that he got, leads the Philadelphia Phillies in hits. This was last night.
2-2 pitch. Line drive off the glove of the pitcher. Inside center field. Marsh in. Here comes Marsh. He's heading home. The Phillies have won the ball game. It's a party at Citizens Bank Park. Wow. Look at the celebration. The Phillies win it 4-3 here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
That's your boy Trea Turner, Joe.
Yeah.
Trea Turner got his standing ovation on August 4th. August 4th.
And he's in scoring position for Trea Turner.
Since this standing ovation, Trea Turner's hitting .353 with an OPS over 1,000. It's 1.007, Joe. Over that span, leads the Phils in hits with 24. Leads the Phillies with doubles with 6. And leads the Phillies with total bases 42. What are you going to say? What are you going to say about the Phils fans out there, you being one of them, getting behind your boy Trea Turner and turning his season around?
I think it was a beautiful thing. I got a shout out to the Philly captain who actually was the guy who started it. This fucking guy, Philly captain, said, "Yo, don't boo him." and then it caught on, and it literally, no bullshit. I really think this has something to do with Trea Turner doing well. There's no way that's just a coincidence. Like, that got him back. And he's been on a tear the last 2 weeks. He has, I was looking at this today. It was 2 weeks ago with a standing ovation. Over those 2 weeks, he has more home runs than he had the 2 months before it. So in 2 weeks, he's basically gone from worst player on the team, worst season of his career, to best player on the team. But interesting enough, when you're reading those, he leads the league. I was looking at those stats today. I was like, okay, Trea Turner must lead the Phillies in like 7 categories. It's going to be sick.
No, Bryce Harper has been just as hot.
Yeah. Like the Phillies in general, like their offense is clicking.
Yeah, Bryce Harper, I mean, he's got like a 1,200 OPS over the same span. Schwarber has been picking it up. Castellanos has been picking it up. Yeah, they've got a bunch of guys that are hitting the ball really well. Even Alec Boehm. Yeah, but despite all that, it's not like they're, I think like the larger scale, like they've been winning more, yes. But like this 2 week span where Trea Turner is the feel good story, I think they're only like a few games over 500.
Yeah, but since August they have a really good record. They've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. They and since the All-Star break, it's kind of the same story as last year, as in they limped their way through it and now they're hot at the right time.
I got those Harper numbers handy, by the way.
please.
Over his last 15 games, 333 average, 1.181 OPS, and 6 homers. So
Wow.
that to me is more terrifying than the Trea Turner thing in a way, because like that's going to be the difference maker for them in the postseason, is if Bryce Harper is Bryce Harper, because this team doesn't, it's not going to, he's their best player, right? And he's been, I think we've, let me back up. I personally, and I think a lot of people have taken for granted the fact that Bryce Harper came back at an unprecedented pace from his elbow surgery, right?
Mhm.
And everybody was like, wow, that's incredibly impressive that he's back so early. And then he just kind of was there and producing at an okay level, but not being Bryce Harper. And now that he's probably a little bit healthier and a little bit in the groove, like we're seeing the MVP caliber player. And, you know, I just think I have to remind myself that most people who underwent the injury and surgery that he did would be looking at coming back like now-ish. So I think his allowing him a little bit of a grace period to have gotten hot, I think was necessary, and makes them incredibly dangerous, obviously. And by the way, I was looking at it yesterday. Third highest odds in the NL to make the World Series at this point, behind only the two obvious teams. And I think that to me was a little bit surprising at first glance, just because, you know, it feels like they've been a little bit underwhelming coming off of the World Series run. But you dig into it a little bit and it makes a lot of sense. Harper's healthy, Turner's playing better. They have the 1-2 punch at the front of the rotation that we've talked about before. And I think you guys even undersold it when you were talking about that they've been playing better. Like, you can go back to June 5th, and they have the tied for the third best winning percentage in baseball behind only the Braves and Dodgers, and they're 42-25 over that stretch. So it's like, we're talking about like the better part of half of the season that has transpired, where the Phillies have been a borderline juggernaut, right? Like a 627 winning percentage that's well over a 100 win pace, or is a 100 win pace over the course of a season. So I think the Phillies need to be firmly on people's radars after the first two temes.
And also
Yes.
all that pretty much without Trea Turner being good, a lot with a abbreviated Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber. You know,
Yeah.
it's a scary team.
It should be, right? Like, it should be a scary team. If all things go well, yes, it should be a scary team. I don't love the pitching this year as much as I did last year. Like, I think that there's been like a little bit of a dip there. But as far as the lineup goes, if they're clicking, that's probably one lineup that you just don't want to face. So we'll see how it goes with the Phils. On the opposite, did you want to expand on the Pablo Lopez, Luis Arias trade, Jay Hay?
Yeah, I mean, I just, this is more to draw attention to Pablo Lopez, because we've spent like all of the conversation on that trade talking about Arias, and really for good reason, because of the run at 400 and all that good stuff. But like, Pablo Lopez is now at a point where he's not going to win the Cy Young and shouldn't, but he has been arguably a top 4 or 5 pitcher in the AL since like late June at this point. He's in the top 5 in ERA. He's top 5 in strikeouts. He's in the top 5 in opponent OPS. He has been everything that the Twins could have hoped for on the series or on the season. And my point is more, and then you look at WAR, BWAR, FWAR, and Arias is still a little bit ahead, but it's closer to a push than I think anybody could have ever imagined when Arias was hitting 400 earlier in the season. And I just wanted to, and also on Lopez, we're talking about 3 straight starts where he has not allowed a single run over 19 innings pitched, with 22 strikeouts and 3 walks. So the dominance is there as well. And it is very rare, in my opinion, that you get a true win-win trade. And I really think this is the perfect example of that, because both teams, I think if you gave them truth serum, would do the trade over again and get the guy that they got. And I think both of them have to be really excited about the asset that they have in-house moving forward. Like, I know the Lindor Andres Jimenez trade was talked about as a win-win for a while, but this to me is like these players are on similar timelines age-wise. They're producing similar levels in the season where they were traded. And I think you can go as far as argue that both players are on their way to the best season that they've ever contributed at the major league level. That's absolutely true for Arias, and I think by the end of this season, it's going to be true for Pablo Lopez as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it is true. It's going to be true.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you think of another example of an even win-win? Because I think when people think of win-win trades, they're usually not this soon. Like there's definitely win-win trades where it's like, we gave up some prospects for a stud ace, and like that ace led to a championship, and then the prospects eventually one of them panned out, and it's like, oh, it's a win-win. But like a 1-for-1 where both guys ended up going somewhere and contributing right away, like nothing really comes to mind.
So your example there reminded me of another classic trade that's been tossed as a win-win, which was the Gleyber Torres Aroldis Chapman trade, right?
Yeah.
Which was undoubtedly a win for the Cubs at this point because they won the World Series. And I think you can still, despite Gleyber tailing off after those first 2 seasons, that's definitely been a win for the Yankees for the production that they've gotten from Gleyber, even if he's not a superstar. Yeah, I would have to think about because really what makes this trade unique is that they are both veterans, right? And they're both ready to contribute right now. Let me give that some time. I'd like to give that a little bit more thought than trying to come up with something off the bat.
Yeah. Yeah. That's mainly what I'm asking is like, is there anything where it's like comes to mind right away? Like, oh, the clear cut example of a 1-for-1 where both sides, it paid dividends immediately. You might have to go back a little while, unless there's people listening right now. They're like, how are you not saying this trade?
Listen, I'm sure there is one of those or several of them, but we're recording a live podcast, and I'd rather try and come up with a list for tomorrow as opposed to So I will do that
tomorrow. Stay tuned for Jay Hayes' list of win-win trades presented by Eggos.
Sure. Let's do it.
You ever have one of those, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like waffles?
Yeah. Big love it. Who doesn't?
Love waffles.
Who doesn't? I would never trash an official sponsor of the podcast.
Waffles?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be sweet. Speaking of Gleyber Torres, the Yankees, they finally said, fuck it. I think 0.2% playoff odds is low enough for us. We're going to call up the kids Everson Pereira, Oswald Peraza, and then they promoted Jason Dominguez to AAA. They said, you know what? I think it's time. I think we might actually be out of this one. And the Yankees have acknowledged that they are punting on 2023. The youth movement is here. Booney was on with Jake and Jimmy yesterday, and he said not only are they going to be in the lineup, but they're going to play every day moving forward. That is a full-on let the kids play movement in the Bronx, which feels a little bit overdue. But it'll be interesting to see. I think Yankee fans, for the most part, have turned on the organization this year. And when the Red Sox swept them over the weekend, they were celebrating with us. They were like, good, embarrass them. I want them to keep losing because that's the only way that they'll implement change. The winning streak is still going because even though Pereira and Peraza were in the lineup last night, the Yankees still lost their 9th straight game, which is the longest losing streak in their franchise's history since 1982. 1982, the longest winning streak since Brett Gardner was a 1-year-old shitting in his diapers. That's where they're at right now. But I don't think there's no point in talking about the wins and losses anymore. I think that the only thing that's really left to be discussed is, are they making a change? Are they acknowledging that it's over? Yes. Are they calling up the kids? Yep. Are they going to play every day now that they're up here? That's what we're being told. So I don't want to say that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but there's an effort being made to turn the page. And I feel like that at this point, that's all Yankee fans can ask for.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember when I said that the Yankees are basically the Angels?
Mm-hmm.
This is another point. This is the Angels. This is an Angels move. Calling up the prospects. Get them up
No,
there.
they traded all of them away.
Listen, they have a lot of top 100 prospects. Oh, the Angels trade them all away. Yeah, but the Angels have called up every single minor leaguer the Angels have. They might only have 20. They've called up 18 of them this year, and they've all played to varying degrees of success. But yeah, you got Mike Trout, who's Aaron Judge, coming off injuries, returning to try to save the day, way too late. And you got Shohei Ohtani, who's Garrett Cole, the undisputed best player in the world. Garrett Cole. Other than those two, you got little guys coming up to help them.
So you don't think that there is a light at the end of the tunnel?
I mean, not this year. I'm sure the Yankees will be fine. You know, they'll be decent. You know, I mean, what is the expectation of the Yankees is so high? Do I see them going to the World Series anytime soon? Not really. I said going into this year that they weren't contenders because we've seen this team kind of over the past few years. They've been underwhelming. But yeah, we know they need a lot of changes. And it doesn't seem like there's a very easy way to make these changes because of who's on their team, who's tradable, their ages, and all that stuff. And the inability to spend and the ownership compared to years past. And every time they do spend, the players suck anyway. So it's like, you know, what do you want them to do?
That is true. They have kind of run into that issue. Besides Garrett Cole, obviously. But they definitely have run into an issue of whenever we spend big money on players, they kind of suck.
No, it's like whenever they spend, whenever they make a trade, whenever they call someone up, the past 2 years, it's been a disappointment. Go back to Gallo, go back to Donaldson, Sean Manaea, not Sean Manaea. I always get these guys confused. Oh my God. The other guy from the A's. Frankie Montas.
Montas. Yeah. People forget about the Frankie Montas trade. That might have been the biggest blunder throughout all of this, the Frankie Montas trade.
So those were all trades. And then you go to Rodon. It's been a disappointment.
Came back last night. Looked good.
There you go. Hey, maybe
don't count them out.
There you go. There is light at the end of the tunnel. The guys.
Yeah.
There you go. Rodon.
Carlos Rodon came back last night. I think he went like 6 shutout innings or gave up a run or something, whatever. Yeah, that's not going to last. I don't think he'll play out that whole deal in New York either.
But yeah, just look at it. Like every single thing that can go wrong for the Yankees has. In any aspect. Any trade they made, any free agent sign they had, even guys like the guys they called up, Volpe and the other, whoever else they called up, Peraza, and hasn't done that well. All these guys, none of them have done well. None of these rookies are doing well. Then you even look at clubhouse stuff. You got Boone freaking out at managers. You got cheating scandals. Remember, they got 2 guys going down for sticky substance. You got Domingo Germán, who's going to send to the nap. They send him to the nap room, guys. Send him to the nap room, and then they send him to rehab. They said, go to the sauna, go to the nap room. Now you're going to rehab.
Don't they still owe Giancarlo Stanton like $90 million? Something like that.
A lot of money.
It's not good.
Was an expensive guy.
Not good. Jay, how would you approach this offseason if you're the Yankees?
Honestly, I think I don't think you can execute sweeping changes, Ross. I don't care about the front office, and we've done the front office manager thing. But in terms of the roster, I know it's boring, but I think patience and kind of letting this develop is going to be the key, because you need to see what you have from the youngsters here, right? You can't really do anything with Stanton's contract, to your point. You are one of the only teams that's going to absorb a contract player performance combination like that. And you actually undersold how much they have on him, actually. He's 32 next year, 32 the year after that, and then 29 and 25. So we are up about $120 million owed to Giancarlo Stanton still.
Jesus Christ.
And that does not include the club option in 2028, which is for $25 million and will obviously be declined. However, it does come with a $10 million buyout. So we're actually looking at something like $130 million that they owe him, now that I'm looking at this a little bit more carefully. Anyway, I think you have to preach patience because you are locked into the veterans that you're locked into. Cole, Rodon, Stanton. You're obviously not doing anything with Judge or Cole. And in that really, really extreme scenario, we're like, wait, we should take a look at what we could get for Garrett Cole or whatever. I don't think that's a realistic path forward for the New York Yankees. Even if they are not the same Yankees from the 90s, we've done that conversation. They are not trading Garrett Cole for a prospect package. And secondarily, there aren't many teams that could absorb Garrett Cole's contract, even or would choose to, even as good as he is. You have to see what you have in the youngsters. You have to let some of these contracts expire. And if there are wise investments to be made in the free agent market that can help to supplement this team, because as I said a couple of weeks ago, I don't think this team is completely toast for 2024. I think they'll go into the season as something like maybe they'll go in as the least likely team in the AL East to win the division, but I think it's going to be an exceptionally competitive division again next year. And I think patience is going to be the key. I think the following off season is when you will see dramatic changes, roster makeovers, stuff like that, if it's going to happen.
Yeah. If they do that, like I said, all the things that went wrong, if they just roll out the same roster, they're not going to be as bad as they are right now next year. Odds are, it seems like this is kind of as bad as it gets for this team where they're at, who they have on the team. Especially because you missed Judge was out for like most of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's real bad. I do not envy the folks in a position who are tasked with fixing this. Because, I mean, the fan base will not tolerate a 4 to 5 year rebuild. Like, they're not going to sit through that. I mean, I don't even know if I can say that because they're still selling out Yankee Stadium despite being under 500 and the 9-game losing streak and all that and whatever. The fans are still showing up, but they are loud and they're angry. And I don't know how that evolves over time if it takes 4 or 5 years to rebuild the Yankees back to prominence.
Maybe they just need to start giving out standing ovations to all these guys. See what that does.
Yeah. I mean, it can't hurt. It certainly is not something that could hurt. But
you think Donaldson comes back last week of the season just standing O for Josh Donaldson? Yes.
He would love that. Speaking of the Yankees, you got to check out Harry's. No matter why you shave, maybe you play for the Yankees and they make you do that. Harry's has you covered for the best shave of your life at a price that you'll love. From their legendary high-quality razors to skin products and exfoliating face wash and hydrating lotion, Harry's gives you a premium shave without the premium price tag. Get better quality and a better price than other razors when you get Harry's delivered right to your door. I actually had Harry's delivered right to my door the other day, and it's going to be something that I'm going to be giving a go here. I need to. I keep cutting my neck on these cheap razors. Can't have it. It's a problem that's been plaguing me for decades. The starter set is a $13 value. You get it for just $3 at harrys.com/Jared, Jared. It includes a 5-blade German-engineered razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and a travel cover. Scheduled delivery for refills as low as $2, half of what you pay for other blades. They've got creams, washes, and lotions that will keep your skin healthy and hydrated. Blades made in their own factory in Germany that stay sharp. Guys who have tried it say that their 8th shave is just as sharp as their first. They're sleek, weighted handles that look great in your bathroom and give you precise control with each swipe. Harry's has the highest customer satisfaction in the shaving industry, and they're still offering a no-risk trial. If you don't like your shave, no worries. It's on them. So get your best shave ever this summer with Harry's razors and skincare products. Get a $13 starter set for just $3 at harrys.com/Jared. That is Harry's, HARRYS.com/Jared for a $3 starter set. What a deal. It's a great deal. Shout out to Harry's. Mike Trout's back just in time. Just in time. The way that it was worded was just so sad to me. That's fine if you're healthy enough. Like let me find the tweet because it really okay. This is from Sam Blum. Mike Trout says he's back and playing. He's dealing with soreness, but felt an urgency to return with time running out in the season. What are you talking about? Like what time? Like yes, time is running out on the season, but like the Angels season's over. Like that's a wrap. There's no way Mike Trout is sitting there thinking, if I can just come back, we can turn this thing around. It's over, dude.
Yeah, well, you could say that about any time he's come back from any injury, pretty much his entire career, you know? So I don't know if I don't think he's thinking I need to come back to win the division or make the playoffs. I think he's probably thinking.
That's what it says. Mike Trout says he's back and playing. He's dealing with soreness, but felt an urgency to return with time running out in the season. Like,
I think you're right, actually. I think he does think in some way that there is still time for the Angels because I think they are not looking at playoff odds. Mike Trout's not walking into the clubhouse and being like, we have a 0.3% chance to make the playoffs, right? He's looking at it and being like, we're 4 games under 500 or whatever we are. I think that, what are they, 10 games out of the wild card now?
Yeah.
That's obviously crazy talk, right? But in order to be an elite generational athlete, I think you do need to have some level of like personal delusion in terms of like what you can accomplish as an athlete or what your team can accomplish as an athlete. And that's part of what makes these people great is that they don't necessarily like recognize limits like that. But you're right that in reality, there's basically nothing Mike Trout can do about this. However, he practically speaking, he's looking at it and being like, if I'm not out there in a week and a half, it's over, right? Like I am shutting it down for the season, to your point about him still feeling pain, because we're very close to him looking at the situation and being like, I need to make sure I'm 100% for February of next season, right? For spring training of next season. And I get it. Like he's seeing the sand slip through the hourglass right now. And while in reality, the math says that all that sand is in the bottom 2 weeks ago, I can still see from his perspective how he's like, I'm going to give it a go here for a week or two. And I would not be surprised if, in early September, we're doing this podcast and we're talking about Mike Trout's been shut down for the season.
Well, and also
0.2%.
Yeah, that's bad odds. But that's probably the best odds he's going to have for the next 5-10 years. It might be the best odds he has for the rest of his career. Like this is his last month to play with Shohei, and the best chance to make the playoffs probably are with Shohei. So as bad as the odds are to make the playoffs, like you said, they're basically zero. This is your last chance. This is your last chance.
That's a great point. There are a couple of games. There are 4 or 5 games under 500 in late August, right? In late August of future seasons, they may be 30 games under 500.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially now, and like I hate to say it, obviously, but Mike Trout is at a point in his career where you can't depend on him to be healthy.
Yeah.
Like you're getting to that point now where a full season of Mike Trout is becoming a thing of the past. So take away Shohei Ohtani and take away Mike Trout, who's out there giving you 154 games a year or 142, whatever it is. Like, I don't think that we're going to be seeing a ton of that moving forward. That's not good. That's not good if you're the Angels. It's not good if you're the Angels. And I feel bad for the fans because they didn't ask for this. Like, Angels fans didn't ask to be the butt end of the joke when it comes to coming up short relative to the game of baseball. Like, anytime that you want to make an analogy about like you're never going to get there, it's like, yeah, you're the Angels. You don't want that. Or to like have like the fact that we will be 10, 20, 30 years down the line and we will look back at this point in time. The Angels had Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani and never made it to the playoffs. That will be a fun fact until all of us here are in nursing homes. Yeah. You know how they had fucking Mike Trout and how sick he was? And show when we live to see the day that those two guys go into the Hall of Fame, and it's like, they were actually teammates. Do you remember that? Yeah. Never played a single playoff game.
Well, just wait until these negative 20-year-olds in 100 years from now start finding out about Baseball Reference, the AI version or whatever it is, and they start finding people like, oh, Mike Trout, this guy was a GOAT. And they probably know about him, heard about him, Shohei Ohtani, and then they look, oh, Albert Pujols, this is one of the best hitters of all time. Oh, they're all the same team at once.
And Anthony Rendon. Wow.
And Rendon.
Yo, but by the way, like, we're talking about what this team is without Ohtani and Trout. I'm just looking at wins above replacement this year. The best players offensively who are not them are Brandon Drury, Taylor Ward, Hunter Renfroe, and Mickey Moniak. This team is completely fucking screwed. Those are like the 8th and 9th best players on a good team. Those players that I just named right there. And they are like the best remaining players to support Mike Trout in this roster. And by the way, they traded, whatever it was, their number 2 overall prospect or something to get Lucas Giolito, who will probably walk at the end of the season unless they throw, $30 million more than any other team offers Lucas Giolito, and then he'll maybe sign there. And then what the hell is a Lucas Giolito on this dumpster fire anyway? Like, what difference would that make next season?
I think Lucas Giolito is smart enough to know, hey, I can get a similar to or greater than offer somewhere else. I've seen it up close. I do not want to be here when that guy's gone. Because now everyone's going to look at me. Like, now I have to be the savior. If that fucking guy couldn't be the savior, ain't nobody saving this.
There's literally nobody on the team who has made 5 or more starts in the starting rotation this season, okay? Just 5. Who has an ERA below 4, other than Ohtani. Every other pitcher who has taken the ball on the bump 5 or more times to start a game, the best of those is Chase Silseth with a 4 flat ERA. Everyone else is higher. Right. Including Tyler Anderson with a 5.5, Reed Detmers with a 4.93, Jaime Barrio with a 5.32, Jose Suarez with a 9.62, and Lucas Giolito with a 6.67 in 5 starts.
Yeah.
6, 6, 7, and 5 starts for your all-in move. Fucking sweet.
Fucking sweet. And Reed Detmers had to basically throw like a perfect game to get his ERA under 5.
Good stuff. A lot of things to be excited about.
And also, it's like, you look at Mike Trout, hasn't played for the last like month, 2 months, and he's already was having like a down Mike Trout year. You're like, oh, it's a bad season for Trout. He's still their second best player according to WAR. Their third best player, just guess.
Brandon Drury.
No.
Mickey Moniak.
No. This is Baseball Reference.
Mike Moustakas.
No, you're not gonna guess. You get one more. You got one more guess.
Logan O'Hoppe.
Matt Moore, baby.
Oh, I mean, he's been pretty good out of the bullpen.
But still, how the fuck is he third? Out of the bullpen.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I mean, I never would have guessed that.
Out of the bullpen, bro. I mean, Ohtani has 9.4 WAR. I'm not gonna do the math right now, but like, how many of the next players do you have to add up to equal 9.4 WAR? Probably like 6 guys, 7 guys.
Sorry, Max. That's just gotta be a tough existence. He put out like a whole fucking like sizzle reel about Mike Trout's return, and then they lost.
I saw that. Yeah, the Mike Trout return didn't really have as much meat on the bone as the Angels were hoping when that first happened.
No, that didn't. That didn't have the juice.
Remember when they traded for those guys? Oh, and then when Mike Trout comes back, it's just gonna be a shot in the arm, baby. Just gonna be.
It's only been one game.
It's only
they could end up flipping a switch and getting on a run here.
a lot of season left.
There's plenty of season left. But I don't know. I don't know how this offseason shakes out. I feel like I always, around this time of the year, you get excited for the playoff races, and obviously the AL West is going to be one of them. The Angels are not going to be are not going to factor into that. But you've got your playoff races to finish out September. You've got the postseason run in October, and the second the final out of the World Series happens, we are going to be on Shohei Ohtani watch, which essentially, you have to think about it perspective-wise, right? As baseball fans, we're looking at the Shohei Ohtani watch. That's a fun, exciting time. If you're an Angels fan, it's the countdown to your franchise entering one of the darkest periods of its existence. So,
I don't know, man. I think they'll have a fun team next year. They have all these like rookies who play. They have, listen, no, Jay, don't shake your head. They'll have a fun team. Neto, Moniak, this new guy who just was playing in the freaking Conference USA
You lost me
2
at
months
Neto
ago.
and Moniak. Let's move on. Come on.
you lost me at Mickey Moniak.
Hey, when Joe Adell gets healthy, man, listen,
Mm-hmm.
that's a
Triple A
prospect.
lifer.
He's a big prospect, man. I don't know. You got to look into that guy, Joe Adell.
Joe Adell was a big prospect 10 years ago.
He's on the pipeline. Look up mobpipeline.com. Search Joe Adell.
Isn't he? Didn't he pop off for a bunch of homers this year?
He pops off for a home run in what, a triple A? Yeah, he does it every year.
He does it every year.
I'm not kidding. It's the same fucking
agree.
song and dance every year with Joe Adell. He's killing triple A. Let's bring him up. He doesn't hit in the major leagues. Let's send him down. He's killing it down there. Let's bring him up. I mean, I'm not rooting against the man, but like counting on Joe Adell he's got a 906 career OPS in the minors and a 625 OPS in the majors.
You know what it is? Joe Adell, and I know a lot of these players personally. I have a lot of teammates like this. He's the type of guy, if he's not the best player on his team, he's not going to perform. Luckily, next year, Joe Adell will be the best player on the team. So,
great fucking news for Joe Adell then.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They've cleared the roster of all the talent so that Joe Adell can thrive.
I bet you, if I looked it up right now, that he would probably be top 5 in AAA in home runs since 2018 because he's played down there more than anybody else. Like usually, if you're hitting that many home runs, then you'd be in the big leagues.
Mm-hmm.
He had 23 and 21, and he has 23 this year. I mean, the guy crushes AAA. There's no question about it that he has figured out AAA.
Yes. Damn. I'm gonna figure it out right now.
It's just crazy if you look at just how many players have been on the Angels roster this year. Like they have to lead the league by twice as many because of all the injuries. You just scroll on their baseball reference page and they have the not lineup and then the guys underneath it. It goes 40 freaking rows. These guys, I've never heard of them.
Let's see. Joe Adell, since the start of the 2018 season, where does he rank in AAA home runs? I don't see him. Oh, 59. He's hit 59 home runs at AAA, and that is 22nd most.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, 59 home runs at AAA. The most, 93. Who the fuck is hitting 93 home runs in AAA? That would be Matt Davidson. Matt Davidson, who is shown here in an A's hat.
There you go.
Good for Matt Davidson.
People say the A's don't have prospects, but
Matt Davidson has played 8 games this year for the Oakland A's. He is 4 for 24 with 1 home run. So all those minor league home runs for nothing.
What's his nickname, Jay? Hey, let's go. We got an A's guy.
Yeah, what's his nickname? Matt Davidson.
Oh, we talking about Davey Poo?
Davey Pooh.
Davey Ding Dong.
Davey
Yeah.
Dingers. Ding dong Davey.
Yeah. Ding dong.
Remember Davy Crockett?
Yeah.
This is Davey Sockit.
Oh.
No thing.
93 home runs.
My grandma told me that we were related to Daniel Boone.
Same. I guess
that
I've
true?
also heard that.
Dude, that's so cool.
My
If we were-
family.
You guys are related through Daniel Boone?
Holy shit.
I have been
Wow,
told that
That's pretty
before.
cool. What's up,
Probably
brother?
not.
Yeah,
There
you
you go.
guys are just cousins and you never knew it? Wow. You guys should get a pair of knockaround sunglasses to celebrate.
They got the Boone line.
Yeah, because we're in the heat of summer and you guys need a pair of great shades that you don't have to baby. Knockaround Sunglasses is the go-to for quality polarized shades that won't break the bank. Plus, they just released their first set of MLB teams, including the Red Sox and the Yankees, as well as U.S. women's soccer team sunglasses. So you can add a little something extra to your game day outfit for this summer's big games. Don't be the person that's squinting into the sun or worried about getting sand on their overpriced sunglasses. Check out knockaround.com for great looking polarized shades starting at just $28. Use the promo code ROCKET and you will get free shipping on your order. That's pretty much all I had on the rundown today. Outside of the big tease earlier where I said the Milwaukee Brewers, I almost said the Milwaukee Braves. The Milwaukee Brewers almost made a trade at the trade deadline. Joe, did you see this report?
Yeah, I saw that.
Who was it?
It was Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso. I want to say that he'd be the perfect brewer, but like, I don't know, like personality wise, I don't think he's the perfect brewer. I think his baseball player makeup fits Milwaukee, but I don't think his personality fits Milwaukee. He fits St. Louis.
That feels like you're insulting him.
I think I'm insulting St. Louis. Yeah. But I didn't mean it like that, but like there's only one way you could take that, and that's that you guys are dorks.
He's not a Milwaukee guy. Are you talking about the city or the team? Like the team clubhouse dynamic and the players on it, or just the vibe of the city?
I don't think he fits the vibe of Milwaukee Brewer baseball. But I think like the way that they have, like, you know how like in St. Louis they have like in spring training, like the entire infield watches the opening day starter warm up from behind. Like that's their tradition. And like they're just like very proper and like by the book. Like I feel like Pete Alonso fits that more than he fits like an edgy, like, oh, we're named after drinking beer and we get fucked up in the parking lot before the game. Like that's not Pete Alonso.
Putting aside the cultural team element, I think he would have been an awesome fit for them roster wise. Like he to me is exactly what they need, because what the Brewers don't have is pop. Their team leader in homers is Willie Adames with 20, and the only teams with a lower slugging percentage than them this season are two teams that use wet noodles for baseballs, the A's and the Guardians.
Oh.
That would have been fun. I think I think that would have been a perfect fit baseball wise.
It would have been.
But
it would have,
alas,
from a baseball perspective, yes. He could have been the perfect brewer if he wasn't the way that he was. Final thoughts, Joseph?
I had a final thought, and it's, let me just pull up this guy because I'm going to mess up his name. I'm not the best at names, but this guy that the Angels called up, who literally got drafted 40 days before he got called up to the major leagues, Mr. Nolan Scanuel. See, I found his name and I still can't say it. But In his first game, he got a hit, and he bat. So not only did he get drafted 40 days ago, gets called up in 40 days. They have him bat leadoff right in front of Shohei, which is a mind blowing thing to do. And then you get a hit, you pick your first big league knock. I mean, tip your cap, and then he turns a triple play.
Mm-hmm.
What a story! And I'm kind of like, probably not a good time to go in it now, but like, seems like everybody's calling up these young guys, and I don't know why. Why that didn't happen before? Was it the CBA? Is that the Angels' smart, big brain strategy? No, the Angels have a smart. Hey, don't shake your head, dude. Angels
you were right the first
time.
It was the CBA. It's the CBA.
The CBA.
They are
So
incentivized to call these people up in a way that they were not before.
there you go, Nolan. The only reason you're in the big leagues is because the freaking owners let you, you piece of shit. And the CBA negotiations, and because Manfred signed that paper, so thank him. But yeah, that's my final thought.
Okay.
And thank you to
Jahan?
the owners. Also, I want to thank the owners and the league and all those guys for getting that deal done. I was always on their side. That was before I really had this platform to say it, but I'm always on the owner's side.
But
Two hot streaks that I want to acknowledge. CJ Abrams, obviously a big part of the Juan Soto trade, and has been really understatedly impressive, I think, for an extended run here. Since June 19th, he's tied for 4th in wins above replacement among shortstops, 6th in WOBA, and 1st by quite a lot in stolen bases. He's got 27 stolen bases since June 19th. That comes with an 810 OPS. So a nice step forward for Abrams, big part of their core moving forward. Graham Ashcraft, I don't know that I've ever seen a season or can recall a season where a guy started off so effectively, completely collapsed in the middle of the season, and then managed to turn around his season and actually pitch better than he has at any other point this year. He, over his last 65 innings pitched, which is 10 starts, he has a 2.35 ERA. That's coming off yet another impressive start for the Reds last night. That 2.35 is 8th in baseball over that stretch. Joey mentioned the Angels' injury issues this year. Spot on with that as usual. I looked up most days missed due to injury this season, and I think the list is very interesting. Dodgers number 1, Angels 2, Yankees 3, and Rockies 4. And to me, what that says is it's just another way to demonstrate how impressive the Dodgers are, because they have been just as devastated injury-wise as the Yankees or the Angels or the Rockies. In fact, more so, and yet they have the second best record in baseball, while those other 3 teams have completely fallen on their face due to injuries. So Dodgers depth strikes again. And then, I was dumping on Dayton Moore earlier, and I didn't want that to seem like personal. So I did want to call up the fact that his GM tenure in Kansas City ran from 2006 to 22. And over that stretch, the Royals had the second worst winning percentage in all of Major League Baseball, ahead of only the Orioles. So bright future ahead for the White Sox.
woo. Jake's takes.
I got a hell of an edit ahead of me today. I just can't wait to get into it.
Good luck with that. Godspeed. And we will be back tomorrow with more Baseball's Dead. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you then.
We're gone.